The first thing that you're going to need to follow along with this is to grab the PDF pattern. You can get that at carlyporter.com. I have so much that I want to show you today, and I'm so excited, so I hope that you'll watch to the end. If you like what you see and you like these videos, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So as you can see, there are lots of different ways that you can customize your own quilted backpack. And I'm so excited to jump into 3 different backpacks that we are going to go through all the customizations, take the pattern one step at a time, but do it for 3 different backpacks so that you can you're gonna be kind of multitasking and switching from one to the other as you watch me put these together. And hopefully they will spark some excitement and wonder about how you might make your own unique quilted backpack. So let's jump into the next part. instead of using this as a front pocket, I am going to turn it into a zipper pouch and do something different on the front here. So I've got my front and back panel, my bottom gusset, and my 2 zipper gussets. So let's figure out some cute hardware and ribbon and zippers. All right, so I want to go for kind of a champagne luxurious vibe. It's kind of a nice color. Got some lace. That could be really cute. Oh, here's some thicker lace. Oh, I love this. Very luxurious looking, very champagne colored. This could also maybe match. That could work too. Here's another brown. Yeah, I don't like that. It's too dark. Okay. Now let's figure out what zipper we're gonna do here. So let's see. I have antique brass hardware that I feel like would go well. I feel like that definitely gives a better vibe. But I also have silver hardware, but I feel like the silver is too counter to the gold. So let's go with the brass situation. So I'm going to need 2 D-rings, 2 claw hooks, and 2 adjusters. Okay, now zipper color. Let's see. I'm going to need a long zipper for this one since it's such a big bag. Well, I mean, really, actually, I only need an 18-inch zipper because my gussets are only 17.5 inches. Let's take out the part about the measurements. Bingo. All right, so I'm going to need 2 zipper pulls for the outside zipper. I have brass ones for that. And then I don't know what zippers I'm going to do on the inside, if any. So let's pull out an extra few. All right, so now I've got my zippers. Hold up. What is this other ribbon I see in here? Oh, this is like an edge style ribbon that I can inset. That could be cute. It's kind of, well, I'll leave it out just in case. Just in case I decide to use that. Okay, I was sleeping on that. The last thing I need is to find a zipper for this zipper bag that's gonna go inside. Which, you know what, I could use this same zipper pull. And that ribbon is cute. Okay, so I think I'm set with my zipper. All right, now we also need to cut our lining fabric for the inside of our backpack. So for the lining, I thought it would be cool to do this gold fleck cork. And one thing that's nice about cork is that you don't necessarily have to finish the edges because it's not going to fray. So that's cool. So I'm going to cut a lining piece for my front panel and for my back panel. This is going to be a big backpack. A big Gorl Bortha. Okay, this is my extra piece. All right, so here's my panels. So one panel is going to hold like credit cards or just be smaller slots, maybe pens could slip in there, just something that will hold it in place there. And then this panel will have a front pocket and then a smaller like cell phone pocket. So I got to sew this to this and then hem this and then sew it to that. And then with this one, I'm just going to fold this way, fold it up over like that, and then sew some stitches right in there. So I've got my inner pockets planned out. No zippers on the inside pockets. Okay, this will be my front panel, and this will be my back panel. Okay, so that means, I'll just stick this in here so it doesn't get lost. So that means my back panel is going to have my hardware. Oh, I also need to find my webbing for this backpack. What do I want my straps to look like? All right, so I have all these different colors of webbing, And I think I want to go for something very neutral to kind of match that same vibe of kind of just luxurious champagne tones. That brown looks a little too dark, but I think this tan looks a little bit too light for my hardware. I don't think I want to go with a maroon because it's too different, or a gray is too cold. Okay, I like this one. So I think that looks nice. Okay, so I've got my webbing. That's going to go with this piece. All right, so now that I have my big Gorl Bortha fabric cut out, as well as my Baby Got backpack fabric cut out, I also have all of the cute hardware and zippers and ribbons and whatever customizations that I have picked out. Let's go ahead and cut the fabric for the Thicc Boi backpack together as well so that we can start doing some sewing. So the fabric that I'm using for the Thicc Boi backpack is this fabric from Alison Glass, and the pattern, the quilting design that I used on it is called Southwest Spirit, and it's a computerized design that you can get at carlyporter.com. This was another Alison Glass fabric that I hoarded for a while before I could bring myself to cut it up, and so I'm really excited to turn it into a backpack because it will be fun to be able to look at it so often. And I'm excited to figure out how we can accessorize it. So let's go ahead and move these cuties out of the way of our cutting mat. And so I'm going to pull up the Thicc Boi cutting diagram. So you should be able to see this in the PDF pattern that you've downloaded. And we are going to get our cutting well underway. All right, so I have cut out the main pattern pieces for the Thicc Boi bag. Now, when you are making your backpack, you only have 5 required pieces for the backpack to come together. So here is my optional front pocket panel piece. And I think I'm actually not going to use it because I quilted this fabric with 2 layers of batting, and so it is a little thicker, and I don't know if I want to put myself through trying to stitch through 12 layers for a front pocket. Now, I could still use this fabric in a different way as a pocket. For instance, I could cut it smaller and do a pocket on the front panel that does not extend to the edges of the bag. However, I would need to bind that piece of fabric so that I could slap it on top and top stitch it down. And I don't know if I want to do that either. But I do really like doing the inset zippers in the panel, in the front backpack panel, and then doing a lining fabric inside. So I could also use this optional panel piece and turn it into a zipper pouch that coordinates with the backpack, but is not completely hooked to it. Kind of like what I did with this one. So this is from my this backpack. When I was cutting all the pieces, I had leftover fabric, and so I made a cute little bag to go inside. So I think I'll do the same thing with that one. Now that's the cool thing about the cutting diagrams for this pattern, is that for all the ones that include that front pocket, You don't have to use that. It's just there if you want it, so that it's kind of nice to include in the pattern that extra piece so that when you're quilting your fabric, you have that little bit of wiggle room. But you can always just turn this into a cute little zipper pouch, or even like a box pouch that goes inside. And I have a separate tutorial video on how to do that if you want. So the required pieces that you need are your front panel, your back panel, your zipper gussets that we are going to put a zipper inside of, and then your bottom gusset, which is the bottom part of your backpack as it comes together. So now that we have our required pieces in place, we also can start thinking about how we want to line our bag. We don't have to get there quite yet. However, in the pattern, it doesn't talk about doing lining fabrics yet at the same time as the cutting instructions. But since we're here at the cutting table, we can do that so that I have those fabric pieces ready, just like I had those ready for the Big Gorl Bortha backpack and the Baby Got backpack pattern. We could do that here too. So I was thinking to line this bag, again, because my fabric is pretty thick already and I don't want to add another layer of thickness, that would include whatever I line it with. So I have this lining fabric that I thought would be pretty, another kind of pretty shade of green to go with it. So I can cut my lining pieces of fabric here right now, and I know that it just needs to be the same width as my panel pieces. So while I have all my cutting stuff out and my cutting table is all nice and clean, I can cut this fabric as well. So I'm just gonna give myself a strip of that width, and this fabric is 59 inches wide. So I've got plenty to work with. I just need one strip that matches the width of my my front and back panels. So right here. Nice. Okay, so this lining fabric is very nice and lightweight, which is awesome. However, it's also kind of slippery. So that's something that I will just be mindful of. And that's the thing too that I like about this pattern is I really appreciate and enjoy being able to stitch on different types of fabric and not just quilt on, you know, traditional quilting cotton all the time. And so if you see non-traditional fabrics and you immediately just like get anxiety, this could be a good opportunity for the contact theory, where the more you're in contact with something, the less scary it becomes. And so I would love to encourage you to try a non-traditional fabric if you want to overcome some anxiety with your quilting. Okay, so let me make sure that measurement is right. Okay. All right, so this can be a back panel lining piece, which I did just say that my front panel, I'm going to do an inset pocket, which means I need a lining piece for sure. That is just a lining piece. What we don't want is to do an inset pocket in our quilted panel and then an inset pocket in the lining piece, because then those pockets are going to access the same cavity, just one from inside the bag and one outside the bag, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm going to make sure that for my front panel, because I'm going to do an inset zipper, that my lining piece, I keep it intact and don't cut a hole in it or anything. Now, that being said, I can still add a pocket to this. So because I have lining fabric that is pretty thin, this actually can give me some bandwidth to add a couple of layers of fabric of this lining. So maybe I'll do an open pocket. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do an open pocket, but then I'm going to sew a seam straight down the middle so that it's two pockets inside of that lining. So let me cut another piece of lining fabric. Right here. Okay, so this one, what I think would be cool, let's go to the overhead. So I have my lining piece here, and then what I can do with this second, oh, I got it wrong. I got it an inch too short. Okay, that's okay. I can turn it this way and use it still. So actually, that's fine. This is fine. I'm just gonna take this and cut it to be the same width. Okay, so my idea here was that I will hem this over and stitch that down. So that's like my open pocket, but then I'm also going to sew a seam straight down so that it'll be 2 open pockets with a separator. So this will be my lining piece for my front panel, like this. Okay, now for my back panel, what else could I do? All right, so I still have more of my lining fabric. So let's maybe do another piece, another lining piece, but since our back panel is not going to have any sort of pockets inside of it, it's not going to have pockets on the outside of it that go towards the inside of the bag. So I'm going to do an inset zipper here, so that'll have an inner pocket that will come like this. We'll put a zipper right there. And then let's add another pocket just below it that opens like that. So it'll have an opening that we can slide into, or a zipper that we can pull and open. Okay, so for this piece, we do need the same width. I'm not going to cut my fabric wrong again. I'm just going to lay this on top so I know I have the exact same width. Okay, and when I do that inset zipper, I'm going to need 2 pieces of this lining fabric to cover the edges of the zipper. And so I'm going to cut them from this. So I know that my zipper is like a 1.5 inch wide zipper, which is fine. And I have that I can cut off of this to give me that. So just got to line this up to make sure this line is straight. Okay. All right. Whoop. Okay, and then we will cut this in half, and that will be the sides of our zipper. Okay, so it's going to go like that, and our zipper is going to be inset, and then we're going to take this shorter piece, and we're going to hem this top edge, and it's going to go like that. So we'll have an open pocket and then a zipper pocket on our back panel. Okay, I'm really loving that. So we've got all of our fabric pieces cut, both our outside and our inside. So remember, again, the required pieces, even these lining pieces are not required. They're just because we're taking the extra time to accessorize the inside of our panels with more customization. Okay, what we really only super need is our 2 panels, our bottom gusset, and our 2 zipper gussets. Okay, now before we start sewing things together, we know what's going to go where, but we need to pick out our zippers. So let me grab my Actually, let's start with webbing. So the first thing we need to know is what straps are we going to be using. So let's flip these over and let's find a strap color that works. Now, I think I do have a decent amount of greens to pick from, but I don't know if I have the exact right shade. Like, it feels like maybe this one might be the only one. And even that's too neon and bright. So I don't want to go with a green, unfortunately, because any green I have. So that means that instead it would make sense to go with a neutral, or like, I don't know. I mean, I could get whimsical and crazy and be like, what will blue look like? No, I don't love that. So I think I want to go with like a gray or a white, or black even could be okay. Or maybe a brown or a tan. Okay, so I have this dark gray that is nice color, but okay, I'm not hating it. What about this tan? That's kind of bright. What about oh, okay. I'm not hating that. It kind of matches the vibe. Now, another thing to think about is whatever webbing I use, could I also accessorize with different colors of ribbon? Okay, this one is actually kind of fitting that vibe, but this one is too. What about a gray? That feels a little too blue. I've got this gray. Don't love it. I've got this gray as well. Don't love that. Okay, so I think it's between one of these four. And I feel like this one makes, or that one. Okay, let's go with this one. All right, so webbing, that's one of the most important parts because obviously we need straps for our backpack. Okay, now let's look at zippers because that's the second important part of this scenario. So let's pull all the, oh, that's the wrong bin, my bad. We need this one. All right, so I wonder what zippers. So I know for sure that my main zipper needs to be the same length or longer than my zipper gusset. So let's see, all of these zippers are only 7 inches. Let's see, these ones are like 9-inch zippers, which I might be able to use these for my inset part. So if I see a color that works inside, I could pull that. I wish I had like a, oh, maybe this forest green one? No, I kind of like that army green one better. Okay, so now I have a zipper for inside that bag. But again, I need my main zipper and think about how it goes with my straps and if I like how that goes together. Oh, I have this one. Oh, I think that's like very cute. Okay, do I have enough? Yes. Okay, so not only, you know what? Okay, here we go, guys. So not only do I have enough of the zipper for the outside, but I also have enough that I could match it in here. So I could put this one back, but this is a vintage brass style. So that means the hardware that I use, I should definitely use the vintage brass hardware to go with it because I feel like that would be not cute to use silver brass. Okay, so I have 2 D-rings, 2 adjuster hooks, and 2 claw hooks. Okay, and then that means I also need my zipper pulls. So I'm gonna need 2 zipper pulls for the outside main pocket, and then another one for that inside pocket. So super cute. I like this brushed antique looking brass. That's cute. Okay, I'm pretty happy with those. Okay, so now before we start sewing still, we need to look at any other embellishments like ribbons or tassels or anything like that. So I can use my webbing for my top like hook where the backpack would hook to something. But if I want to add any sort of other embellishment somewhere, like this little side hook like I did here, this ribbon, then I should find a piece of ribbon that matches, because I don't think I would use webbing for that. I could just do like a little piece of webbing that I just fold over like this. Whoops. So I could do that, but I don't know. I like doing different colors that are all kind of the same vibe instead of matching everything exactly. So I wonder what I have in here. So I'm just going to start pulling out different things that may potentially match. That's kind of cute. Kind of this army green color. I have this green ribbon. Nope, hate that. Let's see. Oh, my strap is like that tan, that sandy color. Maybe something yellow. Oh, okay. I actually don't hate the yellow, especially with that green. So maybe some yellow could be cute. I think I have more of this green strap. Okay, so this was another one of those straps that comes wrapped around a fleece blanket from Walmart. And I saved it instead of throwing it away. And it has some built-in Velcro. So that's cool. Maybe there's a spot that I could add a Velcro something or other, because I have that at my disposal. Okay, so let's see. I've got so much. All right, I've got this other trim. I think this is actually literally trim that you would put around the edge of a pillow. It's like this goes inside the seam and that's what sticks out. And I don't hate it. Oh, I don't know. The brown might be a little bit too off-putting. That's fun, but I just don't think the color quite works. Let's see. I've got this strap. That's a little too gray, I think. Okay, what else do we have in here? Lots of white. Again, I bought a bunch of plush blankets from Walmart for backings for quilts, and they all came like wrapped in this Velcro. So I have tons of this Velcro, or well, the ribbon and the Velcro in parts of it. Let's see, some flashy stuff. I have been collecting ribbon and, okay, I've got this. That could match somewhere cute. I'm afraid to keep pulling on it because I don't want it to just bring, oh, it is pulling on just a whole situation. There we go. Okay, so I've got this ribbon, very, very thin. Okay, now I'm like not liking it as much. Okay, this is kind of cute, but I don't think it quite matches the vibe. Okay, I think I've got enough here. And don't judge me for the way I store my stuff, because I got bigger fish to fry right now. Okay. All right, so we have our zippers, we have our webbing, we have our hardware. This all looks great. Okay, one last thing that we're gonna do with all of the backpacks that I have not done yet. I've already picked out the ribbon and the webbing and the zippers for the other two backpacks that we're gonna do as well. But I also have some cute little tags and stuff. So there's a few little different things in here that I think would be fun. So even just a little tag with a star, that could be cute somewhere. Handmade with love. These are cute tags that could go somewhere inside the bag. Okay, look at this. This label, Stay Grounded. That fits perfectly the color scheme. I don't know if I'll put it on the outside of the bag just because the orange and the pink are kind of bright, but the green is really cute. Maybe I'll do it on the inside. I think I'm going to do it on the inside somewhere. Okay, and then let's see. Are there any other ones that might look cool or match well? Don't love that. Okay, so a few years ago when I was learning how to use a laser cutter, I thought it'd be fun to make these little tags that say, like, this is a zipper pull that says be great to each other. So I could add that sometime later. Carly Porter design. I don't know. These are just kind of silly. They're not, I don't know. They just kind of make me giggle. But I did just order these, which I feel like are cuter and more bougie. That would be fun to just put like a little message on where I engrave it with my engraver pen. And I thought that could be cute. But I don't know if silver would make sense. Maybe gold would make sense because this hardware is brass. But maybe like a gold tag somewhere. I don't know. Could be kind of cute. So I'm going to leave one out just in case. And then let's actually, I'm going to also use a gold one on my big Gorl Bortha backpack because I feel like that will match nicely. Maybe the rose gold will look good. Okay, maybe I won't pull these out right now, but I at least know that I have them. So tags and things like, I don't know, little fun, cute stuff that you can hang or sew in can be really fun too. And I'm sure there are lots of tags out in the world with different cute messages on them. Maybe a heart. I don't know. Or handmade, cut, sew, press, repeat, matchy, matchy. Oh, that'd be a cute one, the matchy, matchy, because one of the cutting diagrams in this pattern is, it's called Double Trouble, and it is a cutting diagram where you can make two identical normal size backpacks with 1 yard of fabric. So if you have a bestie that you want to have matching backpacks with, then you can cut from that diagram and that would be super cute as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm done with these. This is just some extra pieces. I know that I'm gonna want some lining fabric for my cosmetic bag for this one. And all right, now I have all of my pieces for 3 bags. So let's jump into the next part. All right, so now that I have all of my pieces for my Thicc Boi backpack, I'm going to keep those all piled up together. And then let me show you my big Gorl Bortha backpack and my Baby Got backpack. So this is the Baby Got backpack size that we are going to do. But this time around, I'm going to use this really cute, this is some, I don't know if you can call it vintage at this point. It's like at least a few years old. Maybe they turned it into a basic. Anyways, vintage cotton and steel fabric that I quilted. Okay, let me show it to you. All right, so for my Baby Got backpack, I am using this. So this fabric is like metallic-y. You can see up close. So this is cotton and steel. I love it so much. I hoarded this fabric for so long before I even had the guts to quilt it. And then I hoarded it even longer because I was hoarding this rainbow thread that I actually ran out of, which is why part of the quilting is just pink, because I ran out of the rainbow thread. But I loved the fabric so much. I loved the thread so much. So I had this fat quarter of this fabric for a long time and finally had the guts to cut it up. So this will be our Baby Got backpack. So again, I have the required pieces. So this is my bottom gusset, and then my 2 zipper gussets, and then my front panel. I think it's my front. No, that's my back panel. And then I've got my straps, my webbing, and my hardware for that. And then there's my zipper for my gussets. And So this is going to be my hanging piece for my backpack. I have this ribbon for my bottom gusset that we are going to add to it. And then my lining inside piece. Oh, I think, here we go. So for my back panel, I'm going to have a, let me lift this up here. Okay, so there's my back panel. I'm going to have an inset zipper in my lining. So it's going to look like that with those pieces. And then I'm going to do another pocket here like that. Okay. And then I have my, let me move this over. So this is all for my back panel. Okay, and then for my front panel, I've got this piece. I'm going to do a diagonal zipper, like so. And I am going to need my zipper covered on the two edges. And so I have actually, let me grab it. I have these two extra pieces of quilted fabric that I can put right on those edges to cover that. So I'm going to do a diagonal set zipper. This is just another extra piece that I've got. And then I was thinking it would be cute to do some rickrack on this piece as well. Somehow maybe do one above and one below. But I'm going to inset the zipper first. And then I also have this cute silver that I could do somewhere. I could maybe top stitch that down, or maybe I could do like a, what do they call that? When you do like a bow? I don't know. So there's that. So that's my baby got back backpack stuff together. And then let me show you this gorgeous big Gorl Bortha stuff. All right, let me scoot that out. Scoot this out. Okay, so this bag is gonna be a big Gorl Bortha. So this is my bottom gusset. So the backpack is gonna be girthy. Okay, and then I have my two zipper gussets here, and then I've got my straps and my zippers, and then a bunch of ribbons. So with this one, I really wanted to go kind of like that champagne luxurious color scheme, like, I don't know, blushy. Okay, so, and then I have my lining fabrics as well. So let me move my embellishments to the side, my zippers. Okay, so here is one panel. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do, here's like my panel, and then it's going to have a lining. And then I'm going to do pockets here that are like credit card pockets. Okay, so that will be one side. And then for the other side, I've got my other panel, and I'm going to line that panel with one piece of this cork. Look how cute this cork is. Isn't that perfect for how shiny and gorgeous this maroon gilded fabric is? So that's going to have a lining there, and then another pocket here. So I'm going to hem this, or I maybe even could just leave it open. I don't know. And then I'm going to do a cell phone pocket right there. So for the front, I'm going to use these zippers, and I think I'm just going to do an inset zipper that's straight. Now, one thing that I have not decided fully yet is with my ribbon, how I want my ribbon to go. But I have this ribbon that is like meant to be inside of a seam. So I could do it like along the bottom of the backpack and set it in there. And that could be kind of cute. I'm really excited about this bag because I think it'll be just really fun. Okay, but before we jump into the embellishments, we need to get our zipper gussets assembled. So let's go ahead and jump in and do that now.